Well, let's talk about. So, before I even say anything about this news piece, I just want to give a quick disclaimer. There's a lot of suspicions, skepticism, questions
Mm-hmm.
about this new headset that we're about to talk about. So, take everything you hear with a grain of salt here. We this is all from the companies you dealt with, but who knows? There could be changes. So, if you haven't heard of it, Megadodo, which you haven't, Megadodo is a company that's making a Deca Gear 1 headset, they call it, that they're making some pretty bold promises on. So imagine
Mm-hmm.
this: an inside out tracking headset for PC VR with HPV reverb resolution, knuckles
Really
like
good.
controllers with full all finger capacitive tracking, every finger,
Like the index.
expression tracking. So if I move my mouth, if I move my eyebrows, if I close one eye, if I wink at someone, it's showing in the game. Hip tracking. So if I do a little hip shimmy like I'm doing right now and you can't
Wait,
tell,
what? Really? I missed that bit.
Yeah, I know.
hip
Yeah.
tracking.
Wait.
Yep.
Oh
If
my
I do a little hip,
gosh.
all for
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. All right, continue.
$450. $450. So that's like
Mm-hmm.
significantly less than the HP Reverb. That's what the Deca Gear 1 is claiming. Made by the company Mega Dodo, which I feel like right there, that name freaks me out. That
I
sounds like they're
know.
calling us idiots.
Yeah,
Is this just some
not a
big
not a
prank?
fan.
Yeah. It's in early development. You can reserve a pre-order right now for just $10 for this headset. It's promised to do just about everything and even have a full wireless add-on for another $49. So if this all comes to mind, $499 for a headset with all this and wireless. So everyone's wondering, is this real? Is this
Mm-hmm.
possible? Valve has confirmed that this is real to the point that they've asked them questions, they've helped them with tech questions and problems. The
They've
Valve
exchanged
quote,
emails.
yeah, the Valve quote exactly is: while we did not work with Deca on the design, we did, as always, aim to provide technical support on Steam VR integration, etc. We're designed to try this headset. We're excited to try this headset when it becomes available. End quote. So there's videos of this. You can go see them. There's videos of the person wearing it and talking, and their eyebrows are kind of moving. They even show you like inside the headset. But what did you guys think? Like, I feel like anytime someone tells me, like, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. That was like the first thing that came to mind. What did you think when you looked at this headset?
Yeah, press X to doubt, right? It's I have serious concerns about this. I mean, the Oculus Quest came out 300 the Quest 2 came out $300 and that was just bottom floor, really good, and that's because Facebook is dumping literal billions of dollars into making this.
Right.
And so
It's
when
so
I hear
smart.
that a little stand up is able to do that but with the full PC VR integration for $500, just $200 more, yeah, that kind of. If my headset had expression tracking like it did, you'd see my eyebrow raise and total incredulous look on my face. I have some concerns about this.
For those who like aren't as into VR, and like we threw out all these like specs that might not like might most of the audience might not understand. This is practically equivalent to like Tesla announcing that they released a new Tesla that has all the features of like their high-end stuff, but for like $5,000.
Yeah,
Like-
like a tricycle price.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
A
like
Tesla
the
tricycle.
bits and pieces that people would want all in one headset.
But
Like,
for a
it's-
really
yeah,
reasonable price.
Yeah, for like very, very reasonable. And I still don't get the $49 add-on. Like that's such a random small
Yeah,
amount.
for a
Like
wireless.
$49, it could be wireless. Like that definitely seems very gimmicky. Like
Mm.
Yeah, because HTC, which is a huge, already very well-established tech company, had a wireless add-on for their original Vive, but that ran for like $300 or
Yes.
more, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Exactly.
And they're well-established. They have their production lines nailed down. They have experience with
Mhm.
this kind of stuff, and they released it for $300. So hearing
that's what I was
Deca Gear
thinking.
that's going to be having wireless for $50, I don't know. Doubt.
Exactly. Like nobody's
Right.
even heard of them. Like I don't get
This
it.
this definitely reminds me of, for those of you that remember this old console, the Ouya, the Ouya. That's what this reminds me of, and I'm really worried that this is going to be another one of those where it's like it promises all these big things, has a big like
Mhm.
Kickstarter, pre-order, or whatever, and all these people buy in, and then lo and behold, the impossible is in fact still impossible, and it totally flops, and that's
Right.
very, like that can happen, and the odds point towards that. We would love to be proven wrong. But yeah, definitely buyers beware, guys. Like, don't jump into this. wait till the headset is out and there are reviews about it and people can tell you this is a good headset. Do not buy into this. I know it's very impressive, but that's just a bunch of text on a HTML document.
Well, then
But I will say,
$10.
if this is real, I am 100% buying this first thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh,
this
yeah.
is one of the most incredible. It will be, once it releases, the most incredible headset on the market, hands down.
May of 2021, we didn't cover that, so that's when they're saying this thing is supposedly going to ship, and everyone here is pretty skeptical and is obvious. So let me try to take the company side and see if there is any way. So the company's based in Thailand. I'm no expert on like currency rates and stuff, but is it possible that much money, when taken to a different country that's not one of these really known massive tech countries, is it possible that they could be developing this thing a lot cheaper than other countries are? Is that possible?
Yes, but maybe not to this extreme. Because definitely labor costs are different, and there's a lot of economics that can go into this sort of stuff. So if they are building in Thailand, for sure, labor costs are going to be down, materials and supply chain stuff is going to be down. The question is, though, will it be a solid product? And that's the big question. But it's really early to tell. I suppose it's incredible. I want it to be real. I really want it to be real. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see how it pans out. I guess we're in the waiting game now for this headset.
The one last thing that I'm kind of concerned that's weird, it's going to use 4 cameras, kind of like the Quest for inside out tracking. So to me, right when I heard that, I was like, wait, how's it going to track your hips? Like, is one of those cameras aiming far enough back? Are you going to have like a big glowing orb right here that sticks out the front? Or is that going to be like a 3 degrees of freedom tracking that just tracks when your hips kind of shift, but not actual placement? Like if I do the hula for everybody, or if I do a hula hoop, like, are you actually going to see my hips move, or are they just going to kind of do this number because it's going to be 3 degrees? I don't know.
Well, I imagine it would be just along the lines of like, like clothing would mess it up so much, I feel like, but I imagine it's along the lines of just, the headset knows where it is in the room. There's going to be 2 cameras on the bottom, and between knowing where it is and knowing how your hips that it sees move relative to the headset, it can guess where your hips are in real space.
Yeah, if I was a developer working on that, I would say forget the hips, go with the shoulders, It's like that seems to make a lot more intuitive sense, but oh well, who knows? I certainly don't want like a giant PlayStation orb sticking out like a giant PlayStation orb belt,
Well, I actually really like this because really like this for shooters, because definitely there's been a lot of times in Onward where I've been very frustrated with the fact that like the only way it really knows which way you're facing is the head, right? So I'd love to be able to, like, if I were to peek a corner and try to like shoot someone around it, right? I can either just if the way it is right now is the whole body just squares up to where my face is looking. So if I put my head around the corner, my shoulders are showing like as big of a profile as I possibly can around that corner. And same with the rest of my body. But with this, especially if it tracks the hips, not just angling differently, but also staying behind cover, you can peek the upper part of your body around the corner. It's your hips are still like twisted in the other direction and still behind cover, and I'm able to angle over and get some shots in. That would be huge, especially for the competitive Onward community, at least. So that's actually super exciting to me. That it seems like a weird feature maybe for other people. Like that's like, why that? That's like kind of a weird thing to add tech for.
No, but it would make a really big deal. And I know we're getting long with this. I'm sorry, guys. And we'll talk about this maybe a bit more in the peripherals, but
we're actually doing really well on time.
We can have the hardware for something like that, but if the software themselves doesn't support it, then it doesn't matter. You know,
Mhm.
it's like
Right.
if Pavlov or Onward decides, hip tracking, like 1 in 100 people who have VR actually have this, we're just not going to worry about it. Then it's not
Right.
going to be in the games. All the expression tracking stuff, it's like, no one really uses expression tracking. We're just not going to program it, and then it'll die. We've
Right.
seen a lot of that, like maybe Xboxes, like the Kinect, where you could like
Right.
talk to it and everything. Yeah, that was the big gimmick for like 6 months, and then everyone's like, yeah, forget that, screw the Kinect, we're not doing that, and then
Right.
the Kinect died. And I feel like things like the hip tracker, unless it becomes widely adopted by the VR community, where
Mhm.
every VR set starts to implement this, the software isn't going to care, because it's a lot of work for something that hardly anyone has. And so it would be awesome. Yeah, I have doubts again, but we can talk
Adam
about
is
that more in the
skeptical.
peripheral. Yeah.
Mhm.
That'll just be the next meme. Just Adam is skeptical. Sure.
Skeptical Adam.